Hi guys, it's Harvey from All Parts. This is, I think, part 3 of this Hayward new installation. We're going to read the manual together. So I always suggest go to Hayward, pull out this manual, and we can read it word for word and understand it. Anyway, left side of the cabinet is your gas supply. 3/4 piping. Pipe goes straight into the gas valve. All right. No unions inside this cabinet. All right. Remember that. That is important. High voltage and low voltage. This is extremely important. There's 2 ports. If you have a controller and it is controlled by low voltage, turns on and off, you make it a separate line. You do never, ever put your low voltage with your high voltage. It'll bring faults. It'll make you a man with lots of hair be hairless. All right, you'll just pull your hair out. So liquid tight this high voltage in, okay, and liquid tight this low voltage in. 2 separate lines, and you keep these 2 furthest away from possible of the 2, because you get faults through any type of heater. 2 lines, low voltage and high voltage. 2 separate lines. I can't express that enough. Bonding lug. Guys, I can't stress enough again that bonding lug is there for your safety. If your heater or pool pump is not bonded, call a licensed electrician and get your pool equipment bonded properly. Now, I'm going to run off on a tangent because everybody knows I've been out in the field a long time. 98% of the heaters out there are not bonded to the pool equipment. And I don't care if you're a licensed electrician. Well, Article 3 says if it's no more than under 60 amps, it doesn't need to be bonded. Well, I've been around a lot. If you know your code book, I don't care what scenario you want to go into, but you can make a law, 3 different laws, if you know your code book. All right? You just need to know it. I don't care what they say. It needs to be bonded to your pool equipment. Now, I'm going to go off on a tangent because this is going to happen. Everybody thinks it's funny. I did a lot of rental companies. I refused to work on heaters, and everybody thinks it's funny. Well, injury and death is not funny. What's going to happen is people are going to not do these bondings, GFCI, and things like that. And what's going to happen is they're going to turn around and say every pool is commercial. Once that happens, you're talking about a nightmare. You can't even cut a pipe unless you're a licensed plumber and you call for inspection and a permit. My personal feeling, I think every pool should be a commercial law. I know a lot of people now hate me, but this is my feeling. It should be, everything should be commercial. There should be to commercial standards. You want to start enjoying your pool? Well, let's bring pools to commercial standards. Now, if you're not familiar with bonding, bonding is a continuous loop. It goes pool heater, handrails, your niches, anything that could ground you out needs to be bonded. They're going to start making it where you grid out a pool. Wait till that nonsense hits, guys. You want to see a price of a pool or a spa go up. once they start gridding out pools. They'll want the bottom, the sides, and the concrete bonded with a metal mashing. Wait for a couple more years and they'll want it copper. And they'll realize that iron is not good enough and they'll want it copper meshed. You want to talk about price going up. And it's going to happen. They're going to say, you know what? We allowed steel meshing, but it's not working out, and we want copper meshing, and we want it soldered together or a continuous loop. You want to see prices go up. It's going to happen, guys. Bonding, very important. Having a disconnect within 3 feet of this heater. A pull disconnect. Now, let's talk about these disconnects. I do not like these square D disconnects, even though they're great. The little gray boxes, the pull disconnects, after a while, you can't pull out the disconnect. Excellent company, I'm not knocking them, but there's so many times I see a square D disconnect out there, and the handle's broken. You can't pull the disconnect. Ah, well, the disconnect's in there, we got voltage, we're fine. Well, if you need to get a pair of pliers and yank the disconnect off the wall, what happens if you truly got an emergency? Do you want to look for a pair of pliers? Do you want to start yanking it off the wall while your friend is being electrocuted? I think not. This is where I say your disconnects, your gas valves should be checked monthly. GFI breakers, gas valves, disconnects. And on the disconnects and gas valves, make sure you're not the only one in the household that knows where they are. If they're a family member, same as if you go out and say, okay, if the house goes on fire, we're meeting here. Same thing. Here's the gas valve, learn it, practice it. Disconnect, learn it, practice it. And if you are not bonded, properly bonded. I've been out in the field a long time. I had a problem with the owner. I said, you have to bond this heater. True story. Took a piece of wire, wrapped it around this bonding lug because it was so corroded. He didn't loosen out the screw and get a new bonding lug. Okay? But anyway, he wrapped the wire around here, and you know the panel box on a panel? He loosened up the cover and stuck the wire between the main cabinet and the front panel box and screwed it in. To him, that's bonding. He didn't get a licensed electrician. All right, this is, I think, I'm not sure, is this page 4? Yeah, I think this is page 4. Anyway, that's my opinion. We're going to go page by page. This is part 3 of Hayward. If you're just joining in, go to part 1, part 2. Go to the internet and get this book, and we'll read it together. And I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but to me, this is the biggest thing that I can express enough. All right, guys, take care.